Welcome back to another movie. As you can see, we are back with the Rastar BMW Z4 without the rooftop. So actually today I finish it, or almost finish it, because I still need to close it and clean it from all the fingertips, because it's shiny outside. And I will want to show you how it's everything done in there, how I did everything. It's not fully closed. I can and take the top of the car and show you mostly how everything is done. I need to use this foil because the car is really attractive to scratches and I really don't want to have any scratches on it. And here it is. I may have some problems too. Oh, wait, maybe I will rotate it, maybe that way it will be better, because the cable is on that side. Yes, I think that will work. Okay, give me a second, I will switch the camera a little closer to show you everything. Okay, so as you can see, here is the one part of cables, then there is another one, there are only the lights, and here are mostly the drive and the receiver. I'll try to show you as much as I can. I'll turn the light a little bit. So first of all, I have the Dumbo RC 10 amps receiver, ESC in here. Of course, Dumbo RC X4 receiver with the X6F receiver, with the, of course, transmitter, the X4 transmitter with the X6F receiver without the gyroscope. I just don't need it in this car. So I modified the battery box. Let me show you. I just took out all of the connections, the separating panels for the batteries, and just smooth it out to not scratch the battery. I'm using this air, what is it? Ovonic air battery. I did not check what's the best battery and how it's working. Mostly when I choose a battery, it's just what battery will fit inside, because there is limited space in there and I need to have a battery that will fit. I'm still using the switch that was original in this car. I did not change that. I soldered new cables and connected with the plug to the motor. Second plug is for the battery, so ESC is not modified. Another plug is connected to the front lights. Sorry, I don't own a car and I don't speak in English so good, so I don't know how the lights should be named, but in Poland we call it longer lights, and those are the strong lights on the front. And second cable that is going in there is used for the normal lights, the position lights we call it in English. I remove this screw in here that was holding the motor from lifting up. So now the motor have a little bit more movement. The rear suspension doesn't move at all. The front suspension move a little bit, but I did not change it. It's much more work to do, so I will not do that. I just changed mostly on the bottom part. I changed the electronic and modified this box, and actually that's all. I don't have the buzzer connected. I still not found any information about that, and I will need to write to Dumbo RC and try to ask them if they can support me with any information how to connect the buzzer, what voltage is it. Probably it's 6 volts like the lights, but I have no idea. Of course, the receiver. And about the servo, I think I have it. There was that sliding. Let me take it out. sliding connection in here, and there was a plastic part that was going through and moving with the arm on the motor. I did not use it. I try something like this to make it's a electric connector squished, drilled and connected with this part. Also that did not work, so I ordered this. It's the M2, let me take one, push rods and with the ball connector. I have the M2 screwed rod, and I just sorry, on this side I just use it in here. One is connecting the wheels. I still can rotate it and have a adjustment, and the second one is connected to the motor. I centered the servo, adjusted the length of the wheels, but I of course still have adjustment on the radio, so that's not a big deal if it will be more to one side, because I can always switch that. I noticed that the Dumbo RC have some problem with the servo. Probably the middle dead zone on the steering is too short, and when you center the wheels, the servo is twitching from one side to another side. It's not a big deal when the car is standing, but when the wheels are in the air, it's twitching like crazy. So actually not a big deal. We still need to remember that Dumbo RC is a cheap radio, so for me, okay, not a big problem. Maybe on the Mercedes will be much bigger, because that one is bigger. Actually that's all from the bottom part. Two cables. Of course there is a ice splitter for splitting the throttle signal from the receiver to the ESC and to the light box, light kit, and there is a separate cable that is connected to the tune signals, because I hate when on all of the light kits you have the tune signals on the steering wheel, because never in real life any car will tune signals while it's turning already. So that's quite annoying for me, and that's why I did not use it. I just connected it to separate switch. Okay, let me switch again the camera and I will show you everything on the top part. Okay, I hope you will see everything like I want to show it. Here is of course the body. As you can see, I have cables and the fiberglass wire. How would they call it? Fiber optics. Yes, fiber optics. Sorry, I forget the name. So the main part is in here. It's a light kit. I will of course put the link in the description for the light kit. Light kit. Oh wait, I forgot to put the cables. Have this set of lights. The two sets with the 5mm LEDs is the white one and the red one for the front and rear, and two orange ones for the each side. Of course there are always two LEDs for the front and for the back, and they both are connected to this plug. So how it's connected, both LEDs are just connected to one cable, and that's just splitting the voltage. So if you have 6 volts, it will split it to 3 volts connection for each LED. So each LED will still have 3 volts, and you have no way to adjust the brightness. So if you are using 5 volts, you will have a little bit more dimmer light, and if you have a Dumbo that's generating the 6 volts, it will be a little bit brighter, and the light kit can support 7.2 volts, and that will be the brightest one as far, and I of course did not use it, because why else should I? I'm using these plugs. I buy that on Banggood. I found it, I don't remember the name. It's Mini JST. No, sorry, I don't remember the name of them. The only difference is this one have switched the cables, so black and red is on the other side. So I'm using a knife, lift a little bit this plastic in here, pull out the cables and switch them to have it like the original cables. The plug is the same, but the cables are just switched. And I'm using a wire. It's too far to take it. Thin wire. There's a 100 meters of I think 8 colors of wire. They are really thin but great for LEDs. As you can see, I have everything with different colors mostly. So what we have in here, for the back I have the reverse light, I have the brake light, and on the other side the same. I have 2 fiber optics with the turn signals that also go to the front. On front I have those normal lights and the stronger lights, and of course the turn signals on both sides. So I'm using, I don't have probably any in here, but I'm using the electric tubes, connectors that you clamp, and I'm just putting inside the fiber optics, and if it's too loose, I just cut a piece of fiber optic and stuff it in there to keep it tight, and the LED goes on the other side, and that's working really nice for me. I try to my best to glue everything just to keep it in place, to not make it move on the car, and just to not break the optics, because they break quite easily. There are resistors in here and in here. Mostly they are just there for every LED that I'm using. So because the orange or I have yellow light, the yellow LEDs are really not so strong. I'm using 220 ohms to have the brighter light, and for normal lights on the front only, probably on the front and the reverse light have also they have 800 ohms because they don't need to be so strong. The stronger lights and the brake lights also use 220 ohms because that make it brighter. Each LED have its own resistor. Mostly they are in this spot, and 2 for the turn signals in here. So if you want brighter lights, the minimum resistor you need to have it's 220 ohms, and if you want to have a more realistic lights, you can choose 800 ohms or 1000, so 1k ohm, and that should work fine. So actually that's all I need to show you, and now I will try to put it together mostly, because I will not be able, of course, to do that. Let me take this to the side. I will use this drill box. It's not liking it. So of course, first of all, I'm turning on the radio. Wait, I will change the angle of the camera so you can see how it's all working also with the receiver, with the transmitter. Okay, so we have the transmitter turned on. I will now switch the power on the car. I always can find it. Wait, the battery cover did not close fully. Oh, there is the cable in the way. quite less space in there, so sometimes it's hard to fit it. Okay, so let me turn these lights off. I will leave the left light on. Of course we have the turning. I will try to show it like this. See that? That's the problem. Oh, sorry, I'm too close. That's the problem with the Dumbo. When the radio is too close, the signal is too strong. So I will need to move it away. As you can see, everything is working fine. So now in this state, I have the front light with the normal lights, normal brightness, and I have in here, so I also did forget to tell you, but I have this the brake bar, the third braking light. There are only fiber optics connected to one LED, so mostly it's on the middle side. The light is on the middle side, and two lights on the sides. Now on the third channel in here, I have the stronger lights. I asked my dad where should the stronger lights be, and he said on the middle, so I did that too close, and those lights are really strong. As for the car, sorry, I need to move much further the receiver to have it working. Now on the third channel, this switch is 2 position, and I'm using it as a 3 position. I just stop it in the middle. There are turn signals. So now I need to move it a little bit. As you can see, here is one. It's quite hard to see because the fiber optics is sending the light in specific direction, and here is the another one. Of course I have the other side also in here. I have no idea why this one is stronger, and another one is in here. And to turn it off, I need to set it in the middle. Put the radio away. So those are those two. I'm not using the second light with the throttle, how it's on the first socket, if I remember. I'm using it only with this channel, and only the rear lights are connected to the throttle. So now I need to move away the throttle. Let me turn the lights like this. So now the foul light doesn't change anything. The brake lights, the middle position, and the reverse. Of course, as for this kit, the middle dead zone is much bigger than the ESC have, so the lights will turn on only on some level. So when I hit the reverse, as you can see, the wheels are spinning, but there is no light. And if I move it a little bit further, then the lights turn on. So it's cheap light kit, so I don't I'm not mad about that, but the lights are working. Again, I will try to cover the light. Of course, the ESC have a really great resolution. Let me put it on the desk. I need to make much more room for it. And let me show you how it's working. So as you can see, it's really working well. The speed is still not too big because it's just a toy, but this ESC can support 3S. So now I'm using 2S, but I can switch to 3S and have much higher speed. But this toy may not survive it. It's mostly for the look. A little bit too bright. Okay, I'll leave it like this. The camera did not switch. I will leave the speed as is. I'm happy that the lights work really well. The stronger lights are really strong. If I wait, maybe I turn off the second light, set it. Of course I have the main lights on, but here's the difference. It's really strong lights like in the real car. So actually that's all I wanted to show you. That's all I think about in this car, how to get everything to work. Now I need to just put the body on, screw everything and just clean it out. I still have the original box. I can still use the connections that the car have in here to mount it in the box, because the box is quite nice. Have also original logo BMW, because this car is made on BMW license. So that's really cool, because you know this car will look like that. Sadly I will not be able to use this antenna for the original antenna, because there is nothing inside. There is fully molded inside, and I'm not able to drill that inside to make the antenna stand, but that will make it hard to take the body off if something will not work right. But I'm really happy that this car is working, and this allows me to really crawl. This toy is great. When I saw this car, I needed to have it, because it was RC already. I did have the real drive, and I did not need to modify that, and that was a really great thing to do. I will not have any figure, because it's quite hard for me to fit a figure inside. I will try that, of course. I will try to find a figure that will fit inside, but mostly when the car is scaled, mostly the inside is not scaled enough to fit the figure. I will try to do that, because I have figures in many scales, and I really wanted to have one, because it's missing that, because you can see everything inside. So I will check that, but in this moment that's all I wanted to show you. I will try to put the links to most of the parts in the description. Of course, about the radio, there are some versions of that, so you can choose the X4, X6, X5, and one with the gyroscope, when it's the wheels will turn when the car will try to strafe to the side. So that will of course depend on you. If you worry about the ESC, the 10 amps is really a lot for those toys. It's not a giant 540 motors, so it's probably 150, so they are really small, so you don't need so giant ESC, so that's not a big problem. I'm also will mount this ESC that's in this car on my Stingray, and the Stingray will be next project I will work on, because the tracked machine that I have, it's still waiting for the parts. and that one will be next, but for now I will just close this one, maybe see the figure if I can fit someone in there, because I have many of them, but this car looks great now. So that's all for now, see you in the next movie.